Are you confused about all of the rules and nuances this weekend at the All-Star race? Well, you're not the only one. We'll talk about that and get into what's on my All-Star menu next on Racin-n-Braisin. Well, hi folks, welcome back to Racin-n-Braisin. I am CJ. It is Sunday, and yes, we have a couple of things to talk about this morning. We're going to talk about what we've seen so far in the All-Star weekend, talk about the nuances, the rules. Are you confused like I am? I think a lot of us are. And then we'll also talk about a couple of things that we've seen in other racing this weekend, the truck race, and there's been Indy qualifying this weekend if you haven't heard. Finally, we'll round things off with what is going to be on my All-Star menu today. I did touch on that on Thursday night, but I do want to talk a little bit more about how I'm doing it today. But let's kick it off with what we saw Friday night. Friday night was the practice and qualifying. Unclear to me. I guess I wasn't looking in the right spots or what. Maybe I was just being dumb, but I didn't understand that there were separate practices. One for just the pit road, and that was early. And then a regular practice that had all of the cars out there, which was actually really fun to watch. It was good to see North Wilkesboro filled with Cup cars, something we won't see through the rest of the weekend. And then finally, it was the pit road competition, which I didn't know was broken up between open cars and cars that were in the main already. So again, another confusion. And then there were all of the penalties and the nuances and the rules. I guess all designed to make sure that they had enough to talk about in the booth. Who wants to watch a pit stop over and over and over again, especially on a short track where they're enforcing the pit road speed of 30 miles an hour? Remember back in the day, I'm getting member berries on all of us, but remember when they did the pit road competitions at Charlotte and there was no pit road speed and they would come screaming down the pit road and like slide through the box and all of that? That was exciting. This pit road competition this weekend was not exciting. They weren't even timing it from when they stopped to when they left. It was from like 2 boxes before to a couple boxes after they left. And the penalties were 10 seconds per penalty. That was clear enough that it was 10 seconds per penalty, but we didn't know how many penalties were assessed until they were well done with their lap. So the lap that was being posted as they finished wasn't truly what their timed lap was actually at. Frustrating. Just keep it simple, guys. First off, if you're going to have a pit road competition, why don't we move that to the opening week of the season, like in between the Clash and the duels? Let's have a separate competition for pit crews only. None of this running around the track crap. Let's just have a couple of cars come in and maybe like they used to do with the head-to-head competitions in a bracket style or something. Let's do something else. Let's not do it on the All-Star weekend in this format. That was just atrocious. We do not need that. Saturday, unfortunately, practice and qualifying for the trucks was shortened, if not canceled altogether because of morning storms that passed through here. Real quickly, I do want to say my thoughts and prayers are with all of those families affected by the storms that were so widespread over this past weekend. Nonetheless, trucks had an abbreviated practice, which was the right call. Instead of forcing them to qualify, they gave them some practice time, and that was great because we've definitely got some people out there that need the extra time on track. The truck race itself, I thought, was great. It shows that North Wilkesboro can put on a really good product if you fill up the track with vehicles and get vehicles out there that actually perform fairly well on short tracks. You can get a good race. The end of that race was fantastic. Unfortunate that it did come down to another overtime finish this year, but it was a good one. The battle at the front between Riggs and Heim, with Heim getting not moved but forced into the marbles, it is how I saw it. Riggs just trying to take up as much room as he can. He was going for a win. Yet again, I'm impressed with that guy and continue to enjoy what I'm seeing. His post-race interview was great. Corey Heim's composure at the end of the race was fantastic. And yes, Chandler Smith definitely lucked into a win there. He was there for sure and was definitely a competitor for the win. It wasn't like he just absolutely had no business being there. He was definitely a fast truck yesterday. The only thing missing was a couple of punches at the end. But don't get me wrong, I thought it was great the way that the guys handled themselves after the racing was done yesterday. A lot of composure was shown there. You could definitely see the frustration and tell that the guys were mad, but they didn't take it out through fighting, which wasn't the worst thing. I thought it was very respectable to see them handle themselves so well. The remainder of the NASCAR day was with the heat races last evening. I didn't realize, again, confusion going on, that the heat races were for the guys that were in the main already to set their field. I thought that that's what qualifying was including on Friday night. Whatever. They weren't very good. The first heat race was better than the second one. There was a little more action on the restarts. The field remained tighter throughout, and Brad Keselowski did a great job holding off guys with fresher tires, and it was great to see Keselowski get a win, even though it wasn't a points paying win. It was still a good shot in the arm for that team. They need that. The second race was dull. Very, very dull. Seabell just ran away with things. So, heat races necessary? I don't think so. This, like I said the other night, this all-star format either needs a major overhaul or just needs to be chopped altogether. Move it to another time of the year or something. Maybe give these guys another break in the season. I don't know. Something's got to change on it for sure. During the non-NASCAR times yesterday, if y'all didn't get a chance to see any of the Indy qualifying, I was flipping over to that in between any of the NASCAR action yesterday. And boy, that was compelling for just 4 laps around the track. You know, they're doing 230 some mile an hour. It was compelling to watch. If you hadn't heard, Larson has locked his way into the 500, and he's in that area of lock-in that he doesn't have to be at Indy today. Today's qualifying for Indy is going to be the top 12 and also the bottom 3, which has 4 drivers going for it. So there's going to be some interest there. I don't know what time that qualifying starts, but I will be looking for it this afternoon. Hopefully that comes to a conclusion before the open races start today and the timing all works out. It's all on the Fox network, so I'm sure they have that figured out. If not, then once again, Fox striking back. Speaking of Fox striking back, I do want to mention this real quick. I was trying to stick it out to watch the Cars Tour after the Cup qualifying. The Cup qualifying had run just a touch long past their allotted 8 o'clock endpoint. Instead of going straight to the Cars Tour and saying, hey, you know, thanks for sticking with us. Cars Tour is going to start in such and such amount of time and then doing commercials. No, they just went straight to a commercial break. And that commercial break was stretching into 5 or 6 minutes. I don't know specifically how long, but long enough for me to look up, notice that it was a long commercial break, and just say, you know what, screw this. I'm not that interested in the Cars Tour. I'm going to change the channel. And that's exactly what I did. Hopefully Fox recognizes that at some point, if they're ever going to pull something like that again, that they need to go into the next program right away. Otherwise, they're going to lose viewership. And that's a shame for the Cars Tour because this was their first big shot on a big network to finally get some eyes on them. And they lost at least one pair here. So, disappointing again. Just a disappointing weekend. The truck race was good, and the Indy qualifying has been good, but the Cup stuff has not. It's just disappointing. All-Star weekend. I'm throwing my hands up. All right, let's talk about the All-Star menu here real quick. If you guys caught Thursday's video, you know that I announced that I was going to do a peanut butter French toast with a homemade jam and some candied bacon. Well, I've kind of like finalized how I'm going to do things. First off with the peanut butter French toast. I have nice thick slices for the French toast because it is a little bit crumbly. It was made with AP flour instead of bread flour, so I think that's got the structure a little bit looser, and it wants to fall apart. So, to help combat that in the French toast cooking process, I'm going to add Bisquick to my egg batter. And that's going to give some structure to it, give kind of like a more pancake outside to it to hold the French toast together. So that's step one. Step two, I've already done, but I'm just kind of allowing it time to get happy. I went and bought a pound of raspberries yesterday and a little bit of orange juice. Just let the raspberries macerate for about a half an hour with some sugar. Added the orange juice, a little bit of vanilla extract. Got it to a slow boil, reduced the heat to a very light simmer, let it go for 30 minutes. That 30 minutes of cook time allowed the pectin within the raspberries to release, which is kind of like a natural gelatin. Pulled it off at about 40 minutes or so, just enough time to allow the water to evaporate out of the jam and allowed it to cool completely afterwards. Now it's been marinating in the refrigerator overnight. I took a little taste of it this morning and it is fantastic. So that's my jelly component of the PB&J. And finally, I'm rounding it off today with some candied bacon. Candied bacon was on the menu at the brewery that I worked at down in Florida and was extremely popular, and I got pretty good at making it over time. Took a lot of trial and error and learning how to do that. It's a very finicky product. And what I'm going to do for you guys today is create a separate video on how to make all-star candy bacon so that you can recreate it at home. And I'm telling you, it is delicious. So be on the lookout for that later on today. So that's all I've got here for you guys today. I hope your weekend is going really well. Leave a comment for me, guys. Let me know if you're also confused about this All-Star weekend and what your thoughts are on whether it should stick around or get moved or be overhauled completely. I'd love to know what you guys are thinking. Until then, guys, I hope you all enjoy today's race. I'll do my best to enjoy the All-Star event, and we'll talk about it tomorrow night. Thanks a lot, guys, for joining. I will talk to you then. Bye.